We will call the Budget Finance Committee meeting to order. We have no announcements. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the prior meeting?
So moved.
Motion by John, do I have a second? Second. Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Moving on to
I was trying to
item.
think if I was here, I was. It was right before my trip. I was just making sure.
You were here and Bill was on that.
Item 3B, a resolution authorizing the common council to transfer certain funds. Should we just moving some things around?
Yeah, so we've got one for fleet maintenance, which is from fuel to supplies, just unexpected vehicle expenses that fleet continues to run into. So had some savings, so they're putting some of their fuel money to these additional supplies for repairs to vehicles. And then the other one is in the health department fund, some IT expenses that were previously covered by a grant that are no longer covered by a grant due to the sudden lack of grant funding availability. So some increased costs, so they're shifting some funds there. So it's only $5,000, so not significant, but was previously covered by a grant and is no longer.
All right. For Lisa on that one. Do you have a motion to recommend approval for Monday night's council meeting?
Motion.
Motion by John, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by John, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Moving to resolutions, item 4A, R072125A.
So that is a really long and fancy title for the community center financing. So the item before you is one step in the process to finance the community center. So as you'll recall, the community center is being constructed under Indiana's Build, Operate, Transfer statute. And to purchase the community center, we are utilizing a lease financing structure. So in the lease financing structure, the city leases the property from a lessor, the redevelopment authority, and then the payments flow through to those. So it's listed as a lease, and that's why it's read that way. You guys will recall when we do general obligation debt, you guys see those as an ordinance because that's direct debt of the city with the lease structure. And because you're approving a lease, it comes in as a resolution. So both are leases aren't subject to the statutory debt limit, which is why they are very common financing methods in Indiana. So everybody will utilize the structure. So the redevelopment commission, as you can see, has actually already held 2 preliminary determinations and public hearings on the financing. So on June 2nd and June 9th. So they adopted the resolution for the lease and issuing a resolution authorizing the issuance of bonds. So they will, prior to the city council meeting on Monday, the redevelopment commission will meet, have another public hearing and do the resolution. And then you guys, assuming you agree, will adopt the resolution approving the lease on council meeting Monday night. And then the lease is executed. So really, this is similar to what we've talked about. It's the $62 million essentially for the community center, and it's to purchase, and you're seeing it as a lease due to the financing structure. So it's only one resolution before you, as opposed to the direct general obligation debt, which usually comes as an ordinance.
Where are we at on enrollment signups? Do we know?
We do. I just saw that the other day. I feel like we have 768 unique signups to date, which is still trending better than the pro forma amount. They anticipate announcing something in the next week or so regarding like a senior insurance discount, like a Silver Speakers. I'm not sure if they're Silver Speakers or not. So they've got a few other items that kind of crumble out there in the coming week before the opening.
And then we don't even see any revenue yet or potential revenue signups yet on the dog parks because we haven't started that process,
exactly.
right? So that's extra. Okay.
Exactly. So we'll see, November, December actual revenues, but we will still, we'll foreshadow here, be coming to you guys for some operational seed funding in 26 as they get their feet, fully on it. But signups have been going better than expected.
In addition to the seed money that we've.
Correct. So 25 was really just for the hiring of their and build out of their staff.
That was about 5 million.
2.1 is what the community center was, what the general
The
fund.
seed money.
Yeah,
I think we were kind of talking, Bill, about like it being 5 million, what you're saying, 5 in total.
Yeah, I honestly are meeting with them tomorrow, so I'll dive into those numbers tomorrow. But I anticipate it should be honestly less than what we funded this year, and that all expense, no revenue. And in 26, obviously, we should have some revenue coming in. So we do have it, projected out that it's going to take close to 2 years before they break even and get fully up and running. If signups go better than projected, obviously that'd be a great thing. But we did eyes wide open know that there's going to be a cost before this thing breaks even and starts to capture revenue.
And I don't think you're gonna see the bulk of the registrations until the place is open and people see what it is, or once they experience it,
Right.
word of mouth, that's.
That would be one thing.
That's right now, you're just kind of buying it on a, or, you know what I mean?
On a flyer and a
on
conceptual
flyer.
design and seeing it from 116th Street, right? But no one's really walking inside the building yet to really understand
Yeah.
what the offering is. Yeah,
But what we're considering today is just
correct.
financing for the building.
yeah, to purchase the actual building, yeah.
But the city's engaging in the lease with the redevelopment authority, correct?
Yeah,
The debt is under the redevelopment authority.
Yeah,
Is that debt included, I'm gonna ask this for transparency question reasons.
Yeah.
Is that debt included in the consolidated audited financial
Yes,
statement?
that debt is listed, that the direct debt, the redevelopment authority debt is listed, general city obligation debt is listed. As we've talked about, our conduit debt obligations are listed on the audited
That's
financial
also in the
statement.
CAFR as
Yeah,
well, and
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
not like we're hiding anything.
No, no,
It's just a strategy that enables
it's a
us.
strategy
to
of
give us
buying.
more power now, from another, if we have to
Yes.
borrow elsewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We had a parks board, we could have another way to issue debt too, so. But that would be the third one if we wanted to go, another way to go, but yes, so yeah, it is listed everywhere and it goes through all the same processes.
Any other
So this
questions?
is
Go ahead.
So this is the transfer. So it's been built, now it's gonna be operated. It transfers and then it leases. The one redevelopment will be the owner and it leases to the other one for the
Yeah,
operation.
it's a structure, so
So now
it
it's
lists
done.
as that,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's listed, we've got town report, we've got a couple different structures that go with that, but this is, they're all under the city umbrella. They're all part of,
But while it's built, it's under like Hagerman or?
yeah, Hagerman has until the actual building is constructed and that transfer occurs up to and now it is, Hagerman has everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Including the insurance.
yes.
Same process, police station.
Police station, yeah.
Build, operate, transfer.
Yeah. Which is very strictly defined in Indiana statute.
Tornado hits it today, the Hagerman's insurance company's pay.
Yeah, doesn't add to our insurance books until we take
Ownership, yeah.
It'd be like, it's under like a builder's risk policy.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Lisa or Elliot on this particular item? We have a motion to recommend for approval for Monday night's council meeting.
That motion.
Motion by Todd, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Moving on to the next resolution, R 072125B.
All right, so this item before you is related to the general obligation, the one-year bond that was approved in December. So at that time, engineering had identified a series of road projects they plan to do in 2025, and that money was allocated toward those road projects through 2025. There's been some significant savings on some of those road projects, along with a delay due to some additional studies being done that have basically amounted to what we would term surplus bond proceeds. So, for example, the 116th in Allisonville intersection improvement project that was contemplated as part of engineering's 2025 budget, kind of included in that number. As we move through 2025, they want to take a really close look at that intersection. Obviously, for a variety of reasons with the delays, on the 465 construction and the 96th Street roundabout. Really want to do a lot more due diligence on the timing of that intersection and what that intersection looks like. So that, between that project, some savings related to, I want to say 136, I may have messed that up. I know that was in Becky's head, to shift these funds to other projects. And one of those other projects involves acquisition of land for roads, trails, and other things around the event center. And there is a land acquisition agreement that was approved by Board of Public Works related to the requirement to purchase the land. But really what this does is shift those excess funds to be used now instead of sit in the trustee bond proceed account not doing anything really right now. Well, Elliot, if you had anything else you wanted to add on that, if I missed anything?
No, you did, cover it well. The event center acreage is 62.2 acres. The event center is on 3.8 acres of that. And through the land acquisition agreement, there's a whole bunch of parking. 45 acres of that 62 acres is parking. And over a period of time, there will be the obligation of the city to purchase that land. It's currently with the master developer, which is Thompson Thrift. And so identified an opportunity to use these funds now to knock down the purchase of some of that land around the event center.
So you're taking the money from 116th and Allisonville to buy land around the event center.
Right now, we're saying up to 7 million to use for of the surplus projects is what is listed. Whether that's the full amount or not, could come to fruition, but that's really identified through discussions with engineering as to savings and some shifts in additional studies on the
And
road.
so when engineering dials in exactly what to do with 116th Street in Allisonville, what the solution is, whether it be a roundabout, additional turn lanes, or whatever the case may be, it will be the city staff coming back to finance committee and city council to ask for funds to accomplish that task. So when we're saying we're moving money from engineering for the GO right now to do that, it'll come back for a request.
Starting over.
Well, but then we won't need that 7 million for that land, which
Correct.
we're gonna have to do
Correct.
some.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's really not net additional money, it's just
It's not
using the money now and then they'll ask for the road stuff again, but won't need the 7 million for the land at that
That's
point.
correct.
Okay.
Is the right of way bought for 116th and Allisonville?
Yeah.
I assume we're kind of stepping back and being a little more thoughtful about this particular intersection. Seeing how 96 in Houseville has been a little bit difficult, obviously because of construction, but hopefully post-construction will improve. Having been someone who used to drive through there every day, when it was a stoplight, when it was a Michigan left, it's been bad regardless of what you put there. I know there's been a lot of bad press about it, for sure, but I can tell you right now, when it was a stoplight, I remember pulling out of my office, which my office was by Eddie Merlot's, and sitting in traffic from there.
Yeah.
All the way out. So some folks unfortunately have very short memories about what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. It's still frustrating for citizens, but I'm glad we're maybe taking a step back and not rushing into it. And hopefully what Mickey comes back with is gonna be something that's gonna work well.
Yeah.
For the long haul.
Yeah, no, well said. You know, I remember the stoplight days too, and never would have thought someone was gonna miss that stoplight until we put a Michigan left in. And I, you know, Michigan left days, I thought no one would ever miss a Michigan left until we put the roundabout in, right? So, to your point, yeah, we're just taking a step back and analyzing this again. We know something needs to be improved upon at 116th Street in Allisonville. Whether that's the roundabout is a solution, we're not sure yet. So we are just taking a deeper dive and making sure we get it right. And as Lisa mentioned too, we got some other construction projects around the area that are affecting that intersection. So we just want to just get it right.
So what's this do to what's the funding source? What was the funding source for 116th and Allisonville?
So it was the GO.
Their obligation.
So it's all local money? We don't have any federal, we don't have any,
I don't know.
I don't think he has like grant funding for it.
like, Yeah, like NDOT money.
I don't know. I don't think for 116th and Allisonville there isn't. There was, I think, I don't believe there was any NDOT money, like, because
That's not
sometimes,
good, yeah.
yeah, that, because I don't even think like community crossings would have met with it. So I think too, because it is taking a further look at, but at the time it did not have a match, like an NDOT, like 9010 or anything with it. Yeah, I think it was, we were fully funding the costs.
So when are we acquiring the land around the event center?
So the land acquisition, you have 7 years to acquire it throughout it. So, but it hasn't carried to it, so there's interest accruing on. So buying the land out now, it would arguably be a financially sound decision to not accrue further interest on that land.
So then the parking, right? So what's the arrangement then with regard to parking
So-
fees?
We will ultimately own the land, but while we're in the process of purchasing that land, we have a permanent right to that parking. So Thompson Thrift doesn't have any authority to say you can't use this parking throughout that 7-year period of time. Yeah. So we own that,
And any revenue that comes from parking, if we charging for parking,
which we are goes 100%. So Laz is a subcontractor to ASM Global, right? ASM Global is our operator of the Fisher Event Center. Laz is a parking operator. So the contract with parking is with ASM, not with us, but they collect 100% of the revenue, and that feeds back into the revenue that the city receives.
okay, so we're,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
Correct.
it comes through
Make
the,
sure,
through the,
From all
through the
the
event
things
center
that we get,
operations.
revenue from the event center, there's a handful of them, but the biggest ones we get is parking and food and beverage.
okay.
And so again, like our pro forma amount, we're hoping to get about $900,000 to $1 million worth of revenue from the operation of the event center on year one to help pay that debt service payment. And that's trending, well, but the bulk of that is from parking and food and bev.
Can we find out, I'd like to make a recommendation, if, can we find out how much money revenue is generated during graduation?
Yeah.
For parking? The reason why I ask that is I would like us to consider doing something to help cover that.
That makes sense.
So I just,
That'd be a event you want.
I don't know what that number is,
Yeah.
but
We can find that out very
Yeah.
easily. I do know they just pulled, directly from whatever the fee was at the Coliseum. I think it was $5 a parking
Yeah,
car.
right.
And just pulled that across.
well, I feel like it was 10. A couple families were telling me, so I feel like we built the event center twofold. One was to serve the community, number one. Secondly was then obviously you have to operate. You have to there's have to be revenue generating. And I just think the things that we do when we offer that to the community, I'm not real comfortable with charging grandma to come watch graduation.
Or you know, also for like Woodstock games as well.
Or Mudstock. Yeah, I'm not talking about a lot of events. I'm talking about 1 or 2 events a year that maybe we as the city, because these are taxpayers, right? We as a city go ahead and cover that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I think it's a great idea. And we can bring, full analysis of graduation in general, like what was the cost to operate the facility during graduation? So
Right.
was the parking a wash? 'Cause the intent was like, hey, like, we're not trying to make a buck.
No, I understand. No, I understand.
We'll take a $25,000 loss on this day because it's right to do, right?
Yeah.
We can bring all that back.
I think it's just part of a grant process or any kind of process where we're there to partner with the schools. I think it's the right thing to do. So if I need to make a motion on that for us to explore that, I will, but I don't know what
I
that.
got it. We'll bring it back next month.
Okay.
Talk about it if that's okay.
Any questions for Lisa or Ellen on this particular item tonight? If not, well, I'll entertain a motion to recommend for approval at Monday night's council meeting, please. So moved. Motion by John, do I have a second? Second by Bill. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Let's have it. Moving on to ordinances, we only have one, 061625C.
So this is the Great Eagle project. It's a slightly modified version of what you saw last month. As we talked about, these are all per the terms of the developer. development agreement that was approved with it. The change is related to how they capture the increment. As you recall, they are buying their own bonds. They're issued by the city, their developer, purchase bonds, their conduit debt. They are buying their own bonds. So there is the allocation area created to capture the TIF. These amendments allow them to capture the TIF, and if there's any increment above the TIF debt service captured, it goes to them, and then it lays out how that is split out among the developers, among the apartments, the golf course, and I think there's a third developer in there. But that is the slight change the previous version you saw, and they just wanted that codified in the actual documents.
Anyone, you know when they're gonna start on this? I got people in Greenwood, people really mad about this thing.
I asked that question of Megan, and at risk of being pretty generic here, she said by end of this year. Right, and I get asked that every single day as well. I need a more specific day. I'll talk with Megan, but I've heard by the end of this year.
Yeah, I will say the apartment group, or I think apartment town, that group,
Art?
yeah, seems, they are, I think, very ready to go, like, ready to go forward. And ready to close and move forward. So,
Well, part of this TIF generation is also we use for improvements on the golf course.
yes,
That's still intact and it's still part of the agreement.
Yes.
That's not changed.
that's not changed. It's still gonna kind of do its remodel, its kind of nets that are kind of that top golf feel like they talked about. So everything that I understand, the apartments, kind of townhomes, those still exist, and the improvements to the golf course and the improvements, like, I think the clubhouse is gone now, if I recall. The pole barn's gone and like a restaurant coming. So those improvements are still supposed to occur also. Yeah.
Any questions for Lisa or Lee?
Yeah, just remind me, this is more out of ignorance, and I forget. So the risk, the financial risk in this project with the developer-backed bonds is people who buy the bonds.
Yes. Yes.
If the golf course goes under,
It is, yeah, their risk is, yeah, if they don't generate enough, if the increment is not enough to match the debt service, it is not a city make up the shortfall for that bond. It is the purchaser of those bonds. So if it's, a $600,000 debt service, the increment is only $500,000. They are responsible for that 100,000 to make the difference.
but if they go under, who owns the golf course?
I would assume the bank.
The bank, and then it goes through bankruptcy and it goes,
I believe so.
Don?
I don't know.
Because
If they go under and the bondholders are holding the bag, we still, as a city, have a sandwich that
Well,
a bunch of people live
don't
around.
hold me. Let's go back and dig. I thought at one point in time, there was some agreement where like the city had the opportunity to buy the land for a very small dollar amount if everything went sideways.
I think, and
Let's go back. I don't want to make assumptions
Like
here.
when I was on the
That's what I'm
redevelopment
recalling.
commission, that seemed to be like for the things over here, that seemed to be the deal.
Yeah,
But it was almost like a right of first refusal.
it's been a long time.
I don't think it was an
since I've looked at it, but I'll go
obligation.
back.
Did you verify?
Yeah, I think there's
The
something
city
there.
had the right to do it, but I don't think they had to do it.
So it wasn't such a dumb question.
No, yeah, and I've slept since then, so let me look into it.
Other questions? Do you have a motion to recommend for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Bill, do I have a second?
Second,
Second by John, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to regular items, trash billing.
all right, woohoo, everybody's favorite topic around.
It's great. I'm gonna say that.
So, as you guys know, we started, billing for trash under the citywide, trash contract for residential in February. We it kind of bills in arrears, so it's payable in March 2025. You can just kind of see through here the, number of accounts that we've billed, so total billings, then the payment that we've received, and then percent collected. And of that, if you recall, we get that $2 admin fee for billing those. And so that's what we've collected to date. And the percentages kind of vary. I will say there were some mail issues there's always mail issues. There were more significant mail issues in June. So we see a little bit of a later collection. Also, those numbers are the actual bill, but maybe not 100% the month paid. So based on how our reports run, if your bill is February and then you don't pay till April, it still goes back and shows like you paid in February because of it hits against that bill. But just kind of a little snapshot because we had talked a lot about that as we move through 2025. So everything's, been going pretty well. No real major issues. And obviously people are paying their sewer bill with the trash bill. And so then we just take that amount that is applicable for Republic and we remit that to them. Just as a reminder, we have no actual dollar obligation to Republic. It is essentially what is collected is what gets remitted. So we may have billed 536,000, if people only pay us 500,000, that's their share, that's what Republic gets.
So for the administration.
Right, none of that, but yeah, so
So, okay, you pay 500, you get 500, but what about screwing it up for them? I mean, they have any,
we send them a bill, they know how much of the receivable balance exists, and so they carry that receivable on their books. Then each month we go through and we takes a little bit of digging on our end to then be like, all right, here's someone that's finally paid 4 months at one time, so here's these 4 months. So we catch them up every month. So luckily the biggest chunk is truly people paying in that month. And then through the reports, we figure out what is the true up. So then we provide a report to them that says, hey, you of the billings, you got this amount. It was 50,000 in March. It went down to 40,000. You got another 20. So they carry a receivable on their end.
they
But-
charge finance charges on the receivables to us?
No.
You charge finance charges to our residents?
We do charge, we have the late fees on that, but not this month due to some issues, but.
Do you have any sense on difference between folks that mail in versus folks that pay online? Any sense there?
We've gotten a lot more people to the online process. Especially as we've kind of moved through and there's been a lot of significant mail issues. We used to say it was like a third. I think,
50, right?
yeah, it's about 50-50. Yeah.
Still, yeah, mass improvement, but still how are we not higher?
I just click and get it. It's so easy.
Although Larry nicely shared with me that he was like, it is not very intuitive for him to figure out how to get his online account set up. And so we talked about what else we can do that's a little more user intuitive on the Munis, because we are using Munis Citizen Self-Service. It is their tool. There are a lot of probably brighter and shinier ones out there. However, they don't talk directly to Munis. So there is that synergy of using that system. That is the actual system. You're not using another interface. So we've got some restraint there. And they've got in full disclosure, they got a really prettier version of Citizen Self-Service. However, with that, they took away the ACH payment option, which is what we have and offer free to residents. So that is the current version. We offer, that is the option to pay we offer for free. And in the new shinier version, they took that option away. And from a perspective of mine, I don't want to take away that option.
Oh, absolutely.
That is a free option for people.
Yeah.
So that is part of the reason we're still kind of with that version. So I did ask if that was a hard no that the ACH was not coming with this bright shinier version. And the last time I was told, no, it is just they're killing it. I have no idea why, but so that's kind of the struggle on that is there is a little nicer, cleaner version, and that's a lot more user intuitive, but unfortunately takes away, and we've got almost 12,000 people on ACH. That's
So it takes it away or does it make it not free anymore?
it makes you have to do it individually and pay. You have to set it up and it pays. So right now, you can go out, sign up for our ACH option in the Citizen Self-Service. And then we pull it each month and do it. And we don't see any of the banking information. We see like your last 4 digits. So from like a safety perspective or people that are more concerned about that, we don't have any of your information. So it makes you have to do it each month and then charges you a fee to do it. So I don't think that's what anybody wants.
I would say, yeah, setting up my account was, it took me a couple of moments to get through that. And, but the other part was doing was I merged
You linked them?
I linked them.
Yeah.
And that took a while. But once you're there, you're there.
Yeah, it just takes it, and I was telling Larry, I think, when you sit there and you stare at it as someone who does on a really regular basis, you don't even think about it being like, oh, I need to do this. We talked about the story of how you tell someone to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and where we need to stop there. So,
I will tell you, I know it's finance committee, but numbers aside for a moment, I mean, we're 6 months into this thing, but our customer experience team that receives phone calls, we're just not getting phone calls about trash at all. I mean, the billing team we talked about, of course, but like, I think Republic Service has done a great job. This is all Lisa's team, Beth Hampshire, Jordan Alexander, and then Molly Conley and the experience, the customer experience team really have done a great job. But I know it took some political courage because it's a bit of a hot button item to get passed through. But hopefully you guys feel like it's gone well.
Oh, I hear nothing but great things.
Yeah, we're just not
I mean,
hearing
nothing
anything.
but great things.
For us, you don't hear anything. That's good news. We're just not hearing anything at all, which is, I think.
Well, I usually don't hear about good things. I hear people saying, oh, this is great.
Good.
So there's hiccups. Their collection of the old bins was an issue. I mean, there was some things like that, but anytime you change a massive change, you're going to have, and people, most rational people expect that.
So this, because at first glance, I'm like, oh my God, this trend is awful. But basically what you're saying is that in May, I pay February, March, and April. the
It goes
percent
in-
collected. Okay,
it
so
goes in-
basically.
yes, it'll
in
go.
June, May's probably
Gonna
gonna
go
go
back up.
better.
Yes.
Because if you're looking at 96, 95.
Yeah, it looks kind of,
Actually,
We should pull this in the year and show, and
Yeah.
June should be in the 96, 97.
yeah, it does. It
That's
looks
the point,
just weird. But yeah, you get people that are like,
It'll be
oh,
20% by.
or you get the people that didn't even realize they didn't pay until they get next month's bill and they're like, oh, I didn't, like if they mail or they do something like that. So yeah, that's what, and it, like I said, it shows it in the month the bill
Yeah,
was
yeah.
generated. And so that's kind of a lot of
like a little bit
conversation.
of lag there.
Yeah.
Well, that's me. I'm a lag. I pay like every 2-3 months. I forget.
Well, quite
I
honestly,
forget.
Pay 4 or 5 all at once.
I mean, I just,
you know,
yeah.
I'm sitting there thinking, crap, I don't know.
I
So it's like, it's a-
I'm an
Text they gave me, hey,
offender.
are we paying?
Yeah.
Has there been any grievances from people who want to opt out?
No, and people, not that I've heard, we've had a few people, we have a very small number, because basically we're like, if you are a resident, you have to do this. So the only people that really opt out are people that have either moved away or like there are some that are deployments and they just maybe don't have anybody in there. And so we're like, okay. We had a few where their home is burned down. We're like,
Oh, gosh.
that makes logical sense that
But
you're
no
not.
one living in the space saying, I'm out.
Yeah, or I don't want it. I take my trash here type of like. So we've had like, there's not been a lot of people that are like, I want to pick my trash company or like, I don't want to be part of this.
Okay.
That we haven't had a lot of that.
The number of accounts surprises me. That seems really low.
Oh, I was thinking about this. So when we just annexed out east,
There-
what's the transition for them? I've not heard anything, but I don't know if that created some issues. Have we heard?
They didn't opt in because we offered them the opportunity to start
Start immediately or
to start
wait?
immediately, and I don't think they went in. So when they,
January 1 of 26, did they
I,
say?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I have not heard a complaint. I just wondered. I started thinking about
Oh,
it there.
Yeah.
quite a bit.
yeah.
But like, is the switch one account?
No, the switch doesn't. It's only residential.
Okay.
It's all and residential is defined as
Multifamily. does
so yeah, so like a condo unit.
Seems low.
That's about how many homes. Like when you think that's
Well, I guess if there's 3 people,
or,
It aligns there, yeah.
It aligns with stormwater, which goes by parcel and things like that. So they are all kind of, yeah. When you think about just like pure individual homes, it does seem, yeah. But that's been pretty consistent across the board.
thanks for the update.
That is track.
2026 budget timeline.
Yeah, so starting the 2026 budget process, we have our regular finance committee meeting on August 13th. Judge Hinkie will be here to talk to you. But as a reminder, we don't get estimates, the first estimates on local income tax from the state until August 16th, which is a Saturday. So we'll see if they actually put those out on Saturday. So what we have proposed then is that week after having the high level budget discussion where we kind of talk about the overall big picture of the city, maybe a little bit more on some specific funds, but kind of that high level, and then doing the departmental budget discussion kind of a week later, and doing that where we've had the department heads come in and talk to you a little bit more about their in-depth budgets. And then we have just in general, the regular finance committee meeting in September where we can discuss more as needed. But then the plan is on the September 15th city council meeting to have the public hearing, first reading of the budget. And so that 27th kind of gives us the opportunity to kind of get specific feedback. If there are changes that need to be made, based on your guys' input discussion, that gives us time, my team time, to kind of get that out there into Gateway and updated for advertising the budget. So that's kind of how these dates align, but happy to talk more.
I will not forget the 13th budget meeting.
Wednesday.
That Wednesday on the 13th.
Okay.
How everybody else looks like that, let's see, citizens, sports. On the 13th of August.
Johnny, you out that entire week or doing? As you were
I'm
rescheduled.
back on the 13th, I'm out of the country until from the 1st to the 13th. You wanna do the 14th, want to take a look at the 14th, if that works for you? That's okay, I don't wanna, I'm wide open on the 14th, so if you wanna make it the 14th.
So you're not available on 14th, is that this year?
Depends on what
Huh.
It's the normal 5 p.m. on the 13th is the plan, is the,
Yeah, if you moved it to the 14th, but I'm available on the 13th, depending on the senior citizen task force. 14th, I am traveling, but later in the evening.
Okay.
So I can do something in the morning on the 14th.
Okay.
And then on the 20th,
flight on the 20th, then I'll remember.
Team GN2 if you're a bit, depending if you're in the airport or whatever.
is that all the schedule questions? I don't need an answer right now, but I kind of like a sense before we start going into this discussion on the budget is of the major road projects that are still ongoing, how many of them are going to continue into 2026? How many of them are going to be done?
Yeah. Yeah, we will bring that back. Just a general road update, construction wise, so separate from the finance component to it, but like where we at on all these things.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to flip the switch on more money for neighborhood paving.
Yeah.
Most of yours are the concrete, right? The roads, just, no, but
No,
those are just a beast.
It's just
I've got very few
Obama's
of
pit
those.
money
It's
wants
just,
to do
it's just ridiculous.
they don't want a quicker ridge, they want it prepared to man the cost, which is
Oh.
astronomical.
Yeah.
So on that schedule, on the 20th, I'll be on the road and probably till about 9:30 or 10, but I can catch some of it. The other times are fine.
Okay. Well, we gotta get confirmation from Cecilia, or we won't have a quorum for the 20th, so we gotta take a look at that. We can reach out to her and make sure.
Yeah.
Don't know Cecilia's schedule either, and I will have to check with her. She may be going back to Arizona quite often, so that's what she.
Yeah, she's pretty fluid at the moment. Okay.
Any other unfinished or new business?
Only one is normally we would have had the audit. We did have to extend slightly. We've got a little bit of turnover on Baker Tilly and then a new guy doing the single audit. And between those two, just kind of pushed us about 2 weeks behind. So we extended to 7/31 and Emily's pretty confident. We're all pretty confident that here in the next 2 weeks, but a couple new people put you a little bit behind the 8 ball between the one you maybe could have survived, two just was, we were like, it'll give us more breathing room, so.
That was always an issue. And that's for the, the motion adjourned.
Motion.
Wait, we thought, no, second.
Second.
Good job. We are adjourned. Thank you. See you all Monday.
Elliot. Sir, where are your socks?
Not real often.
I'm wearing socks. You got socks?